Welcome to the exercise about data security. First, we talk about threats. So, first of all, we have to specify what data security is, and we discuss the 4 most important data security goals. Now the task is to explain the 4 goals in the context of your smartphone, the QRS service, the achieved points in the PC Practical course, and a traditional letter, paper-based. I have prepared some table, and what you can see directly are the goals, namely availability, confidentiality, accountability, and integrity. And I will explain them using these different situations, namely smartphone QRS, PC Practical course, and paper-based letters, which I have put in the different rows. And when it comes to the smartphone, I have differentiated the situation a little bit more. So I would say we have a smartphone situation 1, where we have a call, somebody is calling you or you are trying to call somebody else, and you have data on your smartphone. So what does it mean when it comes to the call? What does it mean availability? So first of all, that you can set up a connection to somebody else or somebody else can set up a connection to you. And you will grab the phone and go and talk. So basically you have to be attached to a network, and maybe you have to hear the ringtone, and nobody is disturbing your connection while you're talking. How's about confidentiality? It basically means only you and the other side, so the receiver of your call or the initiator of the call, is able to hear and listen to what it said. Accountability means you're 100% sure who's on the other side. So it could be that you know who is calling by, for example, the number which is displayed. But it could be even more that if you see the number and you hear somebody, that you have to be sure it's really the owner of the phone and not somebody else. And especially nowadays, in times of deep fakes, it is possible to fake somebody else's voice. Finally, integrity is that the complete talk is forwarded, that not any nots or don'ts or whatsoever, any kind of word is not transported and transmitted. So I've written down some notes. Availability, call can be set up. Confidentiality, only the 2 parties involved are able to listen. Accountability, you know to whom you are talking. Integrity, the dialogue is complete, no single words are deleted. Let's have a look at the data. Data, for example, you have taken photos. So the data is available. So if you would like to show the photo somebody else, you can do it simply. You find the photos on your phone. They are not deleted and they are findable. Confidentiality, only you as the owner of the phone are able to have a look at this data. Accountability, you know where all this data is coming from. Sometimes it's a little bit weird, for example, if some data is on your phone and you cannot say where does it come from. For example, you find some photos which turn out to be sourced by WhatsApp dialogue, and you cannot really track back where it comes from. Integrity, all the data is correct. So data is not corrupted or partially deleted or changed. So again, I have written down some notes. When it comes to the data and the smartphone, Data, for example, photos are available. That's what availability is all about. You can access them. Confidentiality, only you as the owner of the phone can access all the data, unless you give permission to somebody else. Accountability, you know where the data is from and, for example, who has seen it, to whom you have sent it. Integrity, the data is complete and unchanged. Let's step to QoS. So, you know QoS is a server where all the marks are stored. QoS availability, all the marks are available. You didn't do an exam and somehow you get a, let's say, 2.0, and after half a year the data is gone. That simply doesn't work out. Or you need this data to, for example, go and prepare for an interview, and on weekend it's not available. That's not what we would call availability. Confidentiality, only you and maybe some people in the administration of the server are able to see the data. Accountability, we can track back who has entered or read the marks. For example, if you first get a mark 2.3 and then you go later and it gets changed because you have done a protest and now we have a 2.0, then we cannot only see the 2.0, but we can track back that who has done it, who has changed it, who has deleted what, who has entered it at the first place. Integrity, the data is unchanged and it's complete. So for example, if you have a 2.0, then it is a 2.0 and it's not suddenly changed by whatever means to another mark. Again, let's go through the notes taken. So for QoS, availability means your marks are available when you require them. Confidentiality, marks can only be seen by you and by employees of the examination office. Accountability, we can track who has entered, changed, read, deleted, and so on, all the marks. Integrity, all marks are complete and they are correct. Let's have a look at the next thing, which is a PC practical course. From your perspective, it's basically the same as QoS. We have some kind of mini exams and we store points, etc. So the requirements or the goals we have to achieve are basically the same. The goals, the points should be available. They should be confidential, so only the tutors, me and you, should be able to see your results. It should be accountable, so it should be clear who has evaluated, given what many points for what exercise to you, and how these points come to me and go into a final list. And the whole thing should be have some kind of integrity, meaning the points should not change, should not be deleted, should not be forgotten while we administer them. Again, let's have a look what I've noted down. Availability, points should be available when required. So if you ask how many points do I have, you should be able to get some kind of information. Confidentiality, results should be known by you, by the tutor and by me, but by nobody else. Accountability, it can be tracked who assigned how many points, who had access to the points, etc. And finally, integrity. Points are unchanged and complete. Points are not forgotten somehow, for example, during a communication. Paper-based letter, let's simply call it a letter. Availability means basically that the letter is sent and will be received by the person who is the addressee. Confidentiality, nobody but the writer and the reader can read the letter. Accountability, if I get a letter, I know who has sent it. So even in case of a faked address, it should be clear to me who has sent it. Integrity, the letter is complete, there is nothing changed or deleted. Again, let's go through the notes I've taken down. Paper-based letter and availability. The letter is getting through. It does not vanish simply. Confidentiality. The letter is only read by sender and receiver. Accountability. The receiver knows who has sent the letter. One could add that both receiver and sender know who have seen the letter. For example, that the sender gets a confirmation that the receiver has received the letter and has read it. The content, integrity, the content of the letter is complete and unchanged. Okay, let's now have a quick look on how can we achieve these goals, or what are typical means to take them. So when it comes, for example, to the smartphone, one thing is for both sides, the caller and the receiver of a call, that the smartphone is opened by or locked by a PIN. Locked by PIN, or by Face ID, or by fingerprint, etc. Same for the data. In addition, we can use encryption. Actually, that's done when you take a call over a mobile network. QoS is a database, and here we have lots of technical means to protect the data. Again, there is a user concept inside which clearly tells who is allowed to see what, and again we are using passwords, user accounts, etc. To see to that only the right persons are able to get into the system, and once they are authenticated, they are authorized to do certain things according to the user concept. In the PC practical course, although the requirements are quite similar, it's a little bit more tricky, because basically we use emails and Elias and Excel sheets to handle the data, to transport the data. So these kind of security goals will be achieved by a strong process. So we have to explain and we have to follow how to handle the data. We have to believe that the tutors follow their rules, so they do not spread information they are not allowed to spread, etc., etc. But the system as such, it's not a database, it's more emails, Elias, Excel sheets, is not that strong, so the process has to be a little bit stronger. Paper-based letters, we could, for example, use seals, classical seals, to see at least if a letter has been opened. These are, let's say, not very strong means, but that's what is typically done or has been done in the past.